asking for 2 miles, and I'm not sure where 2 miles comes from, except it was an arbitrary number. You know, what the decibels actually would be at a half mile or a mile, I don't think anybody knows. But I think it's something the planning commission needs to look at, and maybe, instead of creating a new ordinance, maybe what needs to be done is put some different wording in, so where, when these become a special use and the Board of Zoning Appeals is given a variance, they can put them on 1-year variances, where they have to come back to be renewed. So if there's a problem, you know, the city does that quite regularly. When they give those variances, they're for 1 year at a time, and they have to renew them. And if problems have popped up, well, they can pull variance. We've never done that much in the county that I know of. Once one's given, it's over. And maybe that's an option we need to have, the county needs to think about having in their arsenal, is to make them 1-year variances. So if things are not as advertised, the county can do something about it. You know, I think right now, if the Board of Zoning Appeals does variance, it's just pretty much over. It's given, it's done, and it's not going anywhere else. Whereas if they were given on 1-year time frame for renewals, there would be an option to do something. But I'm just tossing those out. I won't be here next year to have any say in one way or the other, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do. But I think it needs to be brought on the table and decide whether there's enough keeping the ordinance now to handle that, or whether maybe something needs adjusted. So I don't know, maybe for the January meeting would be, besides doing the review that Tom wants done on his ordinances, for people to read what's involved in the special use and whether they think something needs to be specifically added for a gun range, or whether just something needs to be tweaked in the variance ordinance, so that they can get a 1-year variance. And that comes back.
The conditional use ordinance, I think, allows us to attach conditions on any approval of conditional use that are rationally related to that particular grant. So I believe that the county zoning enforcement does have the authority to grant renewable use or renewable use or 1-year limited use. It's not very explicitly or standard, it's just our general conditions that are determined. But it's, you're right, it's not explicit in our ordinance as it stands right now.
So anyway, those were the things that I would like to ask the planning commission look into in the coming year.
Can't think of any other members of the board for this topic.
Can you have some?
I'm talking about this gun range. Obviously, I got a couple other things I'd like to make later. I will entertain a brief comment from the group if somebody has something they want to say.
My name is Carlin Lamb, and I'm a member of Lick Branch Baptist Church, a deacon in the church, plus moderator of the church. Lick Branch Baptist Church was established in 1824. It was actually established by a group of 11 farmers who came together and saw a need for a church in the community. The church is located on the actual property that the gun range is being proposed for. It was all the Bennett Nay farm when it was established as a homestead. Our concern is simply having a gun range close to the church and the disruption, the safety, and the land values that are involved with a gun range. I have no I have no qualms with the Chapos, but, we purchase lumber from them. We don't have an issue with the Chapos. It's just simply, the fact of the gun range. The distance, when we started, researching, the ordinances really just kind of silent. And that's what the issue is. It's just totally silent. It doesn't speak about gun ranges in any way, shape, or form. Now, you have a test that, the zoning board was able to apply, to the property, and, I think that left it pretty vague, for the most part. The distance, is, we're using 2 miles, a mile. I think there ought to be some kind of specific distance, that's there. I think the zoning board ought to speak to, the whole issue of a gun range. We proposed that if, Mr. and Mrs. Chapel would have an inside gun range, that, we certainly would not be opposed to that, but they, felt like they needed an outside gun range. And, I can tell you, the next 2 Sundays following, the zoning board's, appeal, we had lots of noise going on Sunday morning right in the middle of church service. So that's what we're trying to protect. We're trying to protect, the interests of a church that's been there, basically since 1824. And we feel like that, it would be a great thing if the zoning, commission would, propose some kind of an ordinance that, might speak to this, more clearly. So, we have a letter, because we felt like that it was, silent and it needed to be addressed. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a statement from the last, meeting that we had, and I clearly states on, 4872 that, non-conforming use of a structure, land in combination shall not be extended or enlarged. They already have a lien in which, they have a lumber mill, which is a commercial, industry in a residential farm zoned property. So now we have 2 commercial things, and it clearly states in 2872 that they're not supposed to extend that, nor is it harmonious with, I have 7 kids. I live right next to them, and I enjoy the safety of having a large property where my kids can play and not have to worry about them getting run over or anything, let alone shot. And you're having a commercial gun range where I'm a business owner. I mean, you have to meet your basic overhead. They'll need to have like at least 15, 20 people shooting at that range in order to make it a viable business. And I'm not including traffic, I'm just including safety. I mean, people are gonna be carrying firearms on and off. They can't, escort them to their car or make sure that they're using proper judgment and not bringing loaded weapons on the range. That's my chief concern, let alone the fact that, I'm not really crazy about the noise either of 50 caliber guns going off. And if I go to a range, I'm gonna shoot a couple hundred rounds of ammunition. I mean, that's the point of going to a gun range. That's a lot of noise. And that's, again, it's not a commercial property. And then the examples that were given during the meeting were next to a landfill. Well, build a gun range next to a landfill, or build a gun range in a properly zoned area where noise isn't an issue and there aren't residents in the area. This is just my general statement. I'd like that entered into the record and you guys can review that. But you can't take 2 bites at the same apple. In regard to the extension of adding another commercial.
We're not talking about a specific case, we're going to talk about additional ordinances.
yeah, you're basically presenting another lien. The whole point of this meeting is the land isn't zoned.
This meeting is
For a gun
not
range.
about that.
I,
That
you
was
know,
last meeting.
okay, all I did, I got a call, and I am next door to to them in regard to the gun range, and I had no notification of this meeting, so I'm just kind of walking in here completely blind.
You're welcome to be here, that's fine, but
So,
we're going down the road we don't need to be going right now, I think.
like, well, then specifically, what are we here for? They wanna get zoned in order to have.
They have not applied for anything tonight. We are discussing, what was advertised for the meeting was discussing the possible ordinances that we might add to the zoning plan. And there are several things talked about, the nuisance thing, and we're not talking about individual cases. But you can say that we'd like a gun ordinance, range, or a gun ordinance.
That'd be great, cause I don't think it's harmonious with the rest of the properties
Okay.
or the neighbors.
Anybody else got that? Let's bring it back to the board. Is there anything more on the shooting range? Would you like to talk about an ordinance on shooting range, already shooting range? Any discussion on it? Well, let's think about it. And again, we can talk about it again. January, perhaps look at some things that maybe some other counties have, and gives a little time to think about it. And maybe Dave can make copies of this, the things this gentleman passed out, and send that to the rest of us next month. That's all right. Any other zoning ordinance things you'd like to look at? One thing that some of the members of the Board of Zoning Appeals has talked about is that we dealt with that, locker plan a couple years ago, and some weren't happy with, parts of that. Is that something we wanna revisit?
Yeah. Good.
Well, we'll perhaps try to find some, how some other counties handle that, and if it's something we think we need to look at. There needs to be some safeguards in things, but the way it is now, it's difficult for the Board of Zoning Appeals to deal with, I think. The other one that is causing a lot of problems in some other areas of the state are wind farm ordinances. With our topography, I'm not sure that's an issue that will face, but it is something that's causing a lot of problems with, people coming in and companies coming in, want to start a wind farm and not having anything in place, so maybe something you want to think about. And some of them are not the commercial, big, tall wind farms, they're looking at some other things with, residential barns and things that can be much smaller, but yet maybe something you want to address. So, I'm just trying to make it work some of that.
Might be worthwhile, blow this thing through it.
Depends on where you're coming from.
Uh.
Depends on where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Where you're coming. Plain looking, that's for sure. Anything else to come before the board?
I guess just say it's been a pleasure to serve with everybody here, and appreciate all the effort you all put into being on the planning commission, and wish you luck.
That's all your work. Over the past
No, this should be.
12 years.
I think we're losing a valued member here, you know that.
Okay, anything else to come before the board? Let's try to dig up some more information for next meeting. I think we'll have, reorganization meeting next week, with the next meeting, with election officers.
Maybe after the first of the year.
Maybe 8.
When is it?
May.
That's the first Tuesday.
Yeah.
come before, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.